Welcome, everybody, to the Sicilian Corner. My name is Mike. Behind us is Lou. Lou is pushing all the buttons to try and make us look good. Not always successful, but you know something.
At pushing all the buttons. You always look good.
That's true.
Just don't always push the buttons.
That's true. I think spring is finally here.
Yes, it's gorgeous.
The air smell. There's something about the air. You know, I know we're going to get some forest fire smoke from New Jersey, but this morning, oh my gosh, it was just lovely. I just loved it. I love being outside early this morning. It was lovely.
We're in that 3 or 4 day phase where the leaves bloom, where everything turns from bare trees to green, and I love that. Those are my favorite 3 or 4 days.
My azaleas were just buds 2 days ago. You should see them today.
I'll bet.
Man, they're absolutely fantastic. Now some of the daffodils, they've been out for so long, they're starting to fade out. Yeah. But everything's so green, so lush, so alive.
Yep.
I can't tell you. I love New England. I really do. Hey, Lou.
Just not 6 months of it, right?
Well, you know, the temperature could stay in the 70s all year as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like I said, if we have our hand on the thermostat, right?
Yeah.
If man-made global warming is real, let's turn it up a few degrees before we stop.
Okay. It sounds good to me.
Get us to the Carolinas.
The last night for the football
the draft.
Yeah. How did that go for you? Did you think they needed a tackle in the worst way, Patriots?
Yeah, as I was talking to somebody about it, and he gave the great phrase. He said, "This is a draft that you eat your vegetables," and that's what the Patriots had to do. They had to eat their vegetables and take the tackle. It was the best option there was.
You know, no matter how good you are, and talking about quarterbacks, man, you could be the best. You could be Brady, but if you don't have protection, you're useless.
Especially that left tackle. You got to have the blindside guy.
Do you know this young man that's next to me over here?
We met several times.
Yeah.
Big fan.
This is my cousin, Carl Russo. And if that name sounds familiar to everybody, it's because so many pictures in the Tribune have his name at the bottom of it. And you know something? You must lead. How long you been at the Tribune?
I'm on my 42nd year. Wow. 42 years.
Look at him. He looks like he's 25. And you know,
here I am at 25.
And the size he is now is the size he was way back when.
Well,
you started off as delivering the papers, right?
It doesn't count for my, for my pension though. But I did start off.
They didn't count that for
3
your
years,
pension?
So that's 45 years.
They should lop that on there.
I delivered papers for the Tribune.
Yeah, 3 years I delivered papers. I had Essex Street. I had the mill, Everett Mill, and Essex Street.
Really?
It was great.
How many papers are on that route?
Well, at the time, it was a lot.
Yeah.
I had like 20 customers in the mill because people wanted to get the paper and take it home. And then, and I had the customers, people that owned the stores on Essex Street got the paper as well. They were the best tippers on Christmas time.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I remember your uncle.
Daniel's shoe store.
Yeah, absolutely. Essex Street, I'll tell you, 1 mile long. The people, the traffic, it was fantastic. Huh, Carl? I mean, back in the day.
No, Tuesday and Friday nights, everything was open till 9.
Yeah. Nutty.
Yeah.
And Louis, on Wednesday afternoons, most of the places would close down. There'd be a short day.
Yeah.
And everybody would take off and go up to the racetrack.
What is, I know. What was the origin of that? Because that was the way it was in Haverhill too. Wednesday was like a half day.
Yeah. I don't know. I know.
Probably because they opened at 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights.
Yeah. That probably made up for it.
What was going on?
But it drew people, boy. Yeah. Man, unbelievable.
It's just weird.
It was like the barbershops. They were closed Sunday and Monday. Yep. Forget about it. There was no ifs, ands, buts. Now, you drive through Lawrence, Methuen. It can be 11 o'clock at night. Barbershops are open.
Oh, yeah. Well,
don't tell me they're cutting hair, all right? I don't want to hear that.
They're a different thing now. Barbershop is a different
thing. Yeah. Me, altogether. Carl.
Yes.
It's my pleasure to have you with me today.
Thank you for having me on.
I'm very, very proud of you. And nobody was more proud than my dad, who happened to be your
Godfather.
Godfather. And every time he'd see a picture of Carl, he would say to me, "Did you see this picture of Carl? Did you see this picture? Isn't that fantastic?" So, I don't know how many times your name appeared on pictures in the Tribune, but it would be an interesting trivia question. Of course, nobody probably has an answer for it. But, man, oh, man, you really, no matter where I look, sports page, he's there.
Any idea how many of your pictures have been published in the Tribune over the years?
No.
Thousands.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, you figure in my specialty, if you want to call it that, because I work nights. So I did a lot of high school sports, which was the afternoon, depending what season we're in. So it would be late afternoon and then at night. And then I really got into the breaking news. A lot of the news happened at night. So I was always chasing.
He sleeps with a scanner.
Yeah.
He sleeps with a scanner.
Yeah, he's a pro. That's what you do.
I'm proud of you, Grasshopper.
It's a lot different these days. I tell you, it's a lot different.
How did you? I don't even know the answer to this question. How did Carl Russo get interested in photography?
Well, I was in high school. I went to the vocational school. I was doing commercial art, so I was kind of like in the being like an artist. And afterwards, I found out the commercial art was too technical. But at that time, I was kind of playing around with the camera and became interested in photography, and wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do. So I didn't go to school right away after high school, but I took a photography course in Boston at Franklin Institute. It's just a 1 year. I said, this is going to make or break me. It's just 1 year.
You'll know.
I'll know. Right. I don't want to go 4 years and then realize, because you could go to art school for 3-4 years for photography. And then after that, I went to Northern Essex Community College, which was great, and got involved with journalism, and it was on the college paper. I was the photo editor of the college paper. When I went...
Hey, this is all news to me, Lou.
Yeah, well, that's all in the news business. So when I got to Northern Essex, said, they got the college paper. I talked to the advisor. She was a wonderful woman, Betty Arnold. And they used to run little index card photos in the paper. So when I said to her, I said, I do photography. I just came out of photography school. She says, that's nice. And
that's nice.
Says, well, go out and,
I like that.
That's
nice.
Go out and take a few pictures. So I went out. She gave me a couple of assignments. And when I came back, she was amazed at the quality of the photos. Compared to whoever was taking the index card photos before. So we changed the whole paper. Now we started running large photos, and I would get like a large photo on the front page of the Observer. And that went on for 5 semesters as a student. And then Betty Arnold pulled strings to hire me to work a year for the school and just to take pictures for the Observer. And that was pretty much a no-no.
Really?
Well, I wasn't a student.
Oh.
So she had her pull. She's a wonderful woman. So she knew she didn't want to lose me.
And that was the beginning.
That was the beginning. And then at the same time, I got hired at the Andover Townsman. Which is owned by the Tribune. Which is owned by the Tribune, right? It was my baptism with fire. And
now Rosemary Ford was not there at that time, right? When you went there?
No, she was not at the Tribune when I started.
Yeah.
So
she's you know what she's doing now, and I really like it. She edited The Parable, and I enjoy looking at that little magazine.
That's the Archdiocese for New Hampshire.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's like the pilot.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And she's doing a great job. She's a nice lady.
Carl, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. When you started, we're talking film.
We're talking black and white film. Yeah. Oh yeah. I did a lot. I used to have a lab in my basement. And we wouldn't call it a lab.
I remember that.
I used to, when it was time to print, which I could only do at night, I used to block off the windows. And my mother at the first wasn't too happy about this because I used to set up the enlarger, and we had the washer, dryer, sink. So I put a board across. So now you had developer fixer water.
Yeah.
Okay. Had the enlarger, I make the print, and it went right across developer fixer. And I had a deep sink. So I used to wash, and it used to print 8x10 black and white photos. And then at the Tribune, we had a big black and white photo lab.
The technology change, as Lou was talking about, has to be absolutely incredible to go from film to digital.
Oh, yeah.
Time saver.
We, at the Tribune, Pulitzer Prize winning newspaper twice. I have to get that in there. And
Okay. First one was the Bobby Orr story.
No. First one was the furlough program, Massachusetts furlough program that failed.
Okay.
Okay.
And the other one was the
other one's
1961 football team at Lawrence High.
No.
No, it wasn't that either.
That was a different award.
No.
We won't say what that award was that you got. So, no, the second one was the
Russ Conway.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
no. When you mentioned Russ Conway, his series on the agent
Alan Eagleson. Yeah.
that ruined a bunch of players, right, with their contracts. That was a runner-up, I think, for the Pulitzer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a runner-up. But the second one was unfortunately, the drowning of the 4 boys in the Merrimack River.
Boy, that was a shame.
And that happened. Oddly enough, both. I was going to say the story for the drowning happened like 2 weeks before Christmas. And actually, the Malden Mills fire was also like a few weeks before Christmas. In fact, it was a few weeks before Christmas.
You mentioned the Malden Mill fire. You have a picture there, and that was in the Tribune.
I have a newspaper like you never seen before.
Look at that.
Okay, it's so big I can't get it on the screen.
Wow. Yeah. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I was telling Mike this story. I didn't take that photo. Okay, so it's not.
You weren't on duty.
I was not on duty. I had the night off. I went out. I came home.
Where'd you take your beautiful wife out to eat?
This is true. I turned on the TV, and Channel 9, which is ABC, was showing the fire live. Now, Channel 5, Boston, wasn't. I saw it on TV. I said, holy crap, Malden Mills. So I called the paper, kind of a stupid phone call. I said, do you know the Malden Mills is on fire? And they said, where are you? I said, I'm home. He says, come in, get in here. We need everybody on duty, right? Yeah. So it was going for about an hour already. So, but I was called in to help out any way I can.
It was explosions that really spread it, right?
Yeah, something, whatever the equipment they were using exploded, and one mill after the other. So this photo was taken by our reporter, Jim Patton, who was the police reporter.
At that Inferno.
It's just, you can't.
Incredible photography.
It's unbelievable.
Great shot.
It's a I can't hold it straight. It's a perfect example of being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Because Jim Patton was on duty. He was on night, like a cop, a police beat.
He's a reporter.
Right. He's a reporter. He did photography in the Army. So he loved taking pictures. He used to like to compete with us and bust them on us about, I got this photo, you didn't get that photo. He had to be maybe 2-3 blocks away.
Oh,
he was on Broadway.
Wow. He must have been eating.
And you talk about police scanner. At the time, the system was so different. He had all these scanners in his Jeep. And in fact, he had, there was no cell phone. So he had radio communication and all that.
Yep.
So he used to pick up everything. So he heard it, went right through there. He went right into the property. I think he got there before the fire department did. And he was able to get in really deep into the yard and get that close to the
I was going to say, to get up that close.
Yeah, because you couldn't, once they show up and the police show up, you can't. Like when I showed up, I couldn't go to the fire. It was blocked off like 2 or 3 blocks. So I was hooked up with a reporter, and we were told they're going to be evacuating people from the neighborhood. So wherever they're going to send them, try to go there and get the story from the people who live in the neighborhood. And I got photos of that. And a funny story about that is the reporter I showed up at St. Monica's school. They were using the cafeteria and they just dropped everybody off. And then somebody showed up and said, no, we're going to move these people. We don't want them here. We're going to take them to the Knights of Columbus on 28.
Yep.
Okay. On the Methuen-Salem line. So the guy says, well, we don't have the transportation. The bus just left. So the guy turned to me and the reporter. He said, can you take a few people?
Wow. Yeah.
So
Talk about getting close and personal.
we put 3-4 people in the back seat of the car. And I'll remind you, these people had belongings, whatever they can get, clothing in garbage bags.
Yep.
And it was just kind of, I said, oh, let's go. Let's take them. Can interview them on the way. No,
Wow.
it's funny how things work, how
Yeah.
you get a story and
But
go
relationships
ahead.
relationships with the police, fire department has to be paramount. I mean, you have to be able to get that close to a situation. They have to know and trust you. And you became very good friends with a lot of the chiefs, either the fire department or the police department.
Yes.
And that really goes a long way.
Yeah, and you got to know where to draw the line, and you don't push buttons, and it works out in the end. They're helpful to me. I try to be helpful to them, and that's why a lot of times, I show up at a fire scene or something. I will, they won't give me too much of a hard time.
Was that Malden Mills the biggest event you covered? If you had to think back in your career, what would you say was the number
personally, for me, as far as my photography is concerned, well, as far as the Malden Mills, again, this is probably hard to see, but we did a story afterwards of one of the workers who got injured. He was released from the hospital about 2 months later.
Okay.
And I went to his house with a reporter to take pictures. He was nice enough to give us an interview. And he was severely injured. His head was, very, I don't know how many degrees burns he might have had. But so I went and took a family photo, and it was just nice to be there and see that he was okay.
As bad as that fire was, Lou, not one person died. I don't know
Right.
how the hell that happened. Maybe because it was at night, Carl, and there wasn't too many immediate residential. There were not too many homes in the area.
Well,
But the back street behind it, there were
a number of workers, right? I don't know. I mean, honestly,
that was
Malden
all
Mills
over,
had thousands,
all over the newswires.
couple of thousand
every
people,
station.
but there must have been like 30 people working at night, and there were
There were that many.
oh yeah, there was a number of people injured.
Okay,
Yeah, definitely.
I got to give
26 are injured. Inferno
okay.
destroys Malden Mills. 26 are injured.
Aaron Ferguson, the president at that time,
Really?
when he vowed to pay all his employees and he was going to rebuild. It cost him a lot of money. He did that for quite a while, and then he just had to stop it. But talk about being dedicated to your business. No, how many bosses would do that? Not many.
No, not many.
Not many.
Yep.
Louis, how much more time have we got before we go to
You
break?
should take your break.
I'm sorry?
You should take your break.
Oh, okay. Very good. We're going to take a break, everybody. We're coming back with Cucino Carl, cousin Carl.
Carlo. Cucino Carlo.
Carlo. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. I'm sorry. We'll be right back, everybody. You got a question? You like something, a special photograph? Maybe Carl can remember about it. And give us a call, 978-659-0072. We'll be right back.
Ciao, this is Esther of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
When you dine at Ristorante Melisse in Amesbury, Massachusetts, you feel at home while enjoying an authentic Italian dining experience not to be forgotten. From the appetizer to dessert, you won't regret your choice. Bring your cravings and appetites. They promise you won't leave hungry or without leftovers for the next day. Takeout and catering are also available. Give them a call or visit them online for the menu, online ordering, and reservations. RistoranteMelisse.com. That's RistoranteMolise.com or call 978-388-4844. Ristorante Melisse, where you're treated like family. Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This is Cindy
and Mike Kunstler,
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
He is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts.
Hope to see you soon.
Hope to see you soon. And we are back, and you're listening to the Sicilian Corner podcast. Carl, I believe we have a phone call for you. Caller, you're on the Sicilian Corner.
Yes, hi, Carl. It's your cousin Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Great.
You look very good on the show.
Thank you.
You're a natural. And, of course, Mikey is also. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention about my dad. He used to actually cut out all your pictures that would say Carl Russo and save them. And when I was living out in California, he used to mail them to me sometimes.
Did he really? What?
Yes, along with the sound off. Remember the old sound
Oh,
off?
yes. Yes.
Yeah. I used to show my California neighbors photos. I said my cousin took this, and then they really enjoyed the sound offs. I think their favorite was, for a while, it kept going on and on about they didn't like the neighbors' dirty curtains or something. Remember that? Yeah.
Sound off was out
changed.
of control.
It's-
Yes.
Yeah.
The what?
It was out of control.
Yes, yeah.
Very much out
And
of
my
control.
neighbors,
Yeah.
after commenting about your great photos, would say, out in California, they say the people in the Lawrence area need to get a life when they used to read some of the complaints on the sound off. Yes.
Yeah. Sound off was their life. So,
Yeah.
It used to get hot and heated, boy. Let me tell you.
And it was good back then because it wasn't political or anything. It was just about things going on their street or the town that they'd be complaining about. So
yeah,
it's really hometown.
they've tamed sound off these days because of that. People would go back and forth. The same two people would go back and forth.
Yeah.
You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And it's like, okay.
Yes.
Hopefully they're subscribers.
But I don't want to keep you. But really, everybody was very proud of you and the family. You did extremely well, and are still doing well.
Absolutely.
And of course, you went to the Votech, and I knew that they'd given you a great foundation. And then I didn't realize about Northern Essex. I had probably forgotten about that. So very good.
Thank you, Bobby.
I appreciate you calling in. Hey, have a good weekend, brother.
You too. Bye now.
All right, Bob. Take care.
You talk about somebody who's seriously is a big fan of yours, Bob. No question
I'll
about
write him
that.
a check.
He'd be staying at my dad's house, and all of a sudden, did you see that picture on page 3 or page 2 or whatever the case might be?
Yeah.
It's amazing how people can associate. And you're fortunate enough that you're able to put your name under each photograph. So not that they belong to you, but you get credit for it, correct?
Well, that's why I was hired at the Tribune to, be the photographer. So,
I think you're hogging me, dude.
Yeah. Well.
That's what I think. We're talking about McCann's Liquor Store. That was located in South Lawrence, correct?
Yes. South Union Street. Yeah.
My dad, we lived on Exeter Street in South Lawrence. And every Saturday he would order 2 cases of Utica Club. You remember Utica Club?
God, yeah. Yep.
And McCann's had delivery at that time, and the guy would come and bring it and put it in the basement. And at that time, the basement was all sand. There wasn't cement. There was actually a little well in that basement. And anyway, they would deliver 2 cases of beer. And Carl had he said it before, you said timing is everything.
Yep.
And why don't you tell them the story about this?
Timing and location is everything. Just like we were talking about the Mulder Mills fire photo. The photographers, reporters do their best to get to an event when the breaking news happens. But sometimes out of my experience, I'm off duty and something's happening.
I like it.
And so the McCann Liquor Store was an attempted robbery. It turned out to be a standoff with the 2 robbers. And I was telling Mike, Sunday morning, I went to 11 o'clock mass, which Holy Rosary, which is on Union Street. in North Lawrence. And I came out of church, turned my scanner on, which I like to always have my scanner. I always have it on, except when my wife's in the car, and for obvious reasons.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I hear the police are responding to McCann's liquor store for a robbery. So, what do you say? Half a mile away?
About a mile and a quarter.
So I made
Not a mile and a half.
Mile and a quarter.
Mile and a quarter.
Okay. So I made a
Walked it
dash.
off this week.
Go ahead.
I made a dash across the Green Bridge,
The Duck Bridge.
the
yep.
Duck Bridge, yeah, and drove right over. Wasn't even sure where McCann's liquor store was, but I figured I'll start seeing police but basically I was getting there roughly around the same time as they did. So I got in very close.
Mm.
I was able to get in very close. And one of the first photos I saw, and then I started running towards the liquor store. One of the first photos I took was the owner of the store,
Oh, okay.
and he was being treated by the paramedics in the back of the ambulance. So what happened was
Talk about timing.
well, that's it. He got out of the store just in time, and what happened was now the police realized what was going on. The two robbers, instead of escaping because they were being afraid of getting caught, they stayed inside the store and they found a place to hide.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That's not good.
That's not good. It's good for photos.
Good. Yeah, I bet.
So the police started shutting everything down, keep the crowd away.
Mhm.
I looked at I wish I could remember his name. I looked at this lieutenant, Sean.
It'll come to you.
Sean Conway. He's retired. Sean Conway, Lawrence Police Lieutenant, and nice guy, right? We looked at each other, and he said, "Okay, get behind the cruiser."
Yeah. Nice.
Nice. That's right. And so, and then everything started to happen. They just kept. SWAT team came in.
How exciting.
They were trying to figure out what to do, how to communicate with these guys.
Wow.
Right.
That's-
So, and long story short, so after a couple hours, the SWAT team came and they got him to
Surrender.
So, and then they
They weren't the smartest guys in the world.
I was able to get up close.
It was less than well planned.
Get up close while they were being arrested,
Yeah.
even closer. Again, because of
Good for you.
thanks to the Lawrence Police Department, and Chief Romero was the police chief at the time.
Sure.
And it was nice because this way they didn't kick me out. They
Yeah.
said, "Okay, just stay safe."
No.
You know. So, and
that's-
these guys were hiding in. It was like a room or the attic, but then it was sealed off with a wall. So they couldn't understand how
they were able to get in there.
they were able to get in there, and then they figured out there was
They were above
They
it and they
popped-
came down.
somehow they got they figured out they were on the other side of the wall.
Wow.
Police heard them on the other side of the wall.
Bad day to be a cop.
Carl, I wanted to ask you about the Mother's Day floods that really hurt and hit North Lawrence very, very badly. And, they had to evacuate 3,000 people, I believe, at that time. That was major.
Yeah, yes, it was a major event to cover and stuff. I really didn't have much involvement.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No.
Right.
But I went out, took a few photos a couple of days after, because any place where there was a river, 114, going from North Andover to South Lawrence,
That always flooded.
blocked off.
Right in front of Den Rock
Right.
for you.
Mass Ave, going
Yeah.
from Mass Ave from North Andover to South Lawrence. So any place where there was a Spigot River or the Shawshene River. But but yes, there was people were being evacuated, and that was a lot of stuff happening during the day.
Yeah, even my neighborhood, and we have one road that connects alongside the lake to get to our development, call it, and water was coming up over the road.
Yeah.
And you had to drive
Right.
through some water, but I mean, it wasn't high enough to really cause you concern. But I've only seen that happen twice in the 40 years I've been up there. It was bad. It was bad. My niece Joanne, they were on Big Island Pond, and they hadn't had any water ever. And all of a sudden, water was flowing through their basement,
Oh.
just right going in one door and out the other,
Yep.
because it was ground level. Jeez.
Fun, huh?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
crazy. The water. That's why when you hear somebody say, well, they got 12 inches of rain, 9 inches, that's mind-boggling, because the ground can't absorb it, can't absorb it at all. But that flood in particular, that was really bad. Francisco Urena did a great job in communicating with the mayor's office, communicating with the police department, relaying what the police department was trying to say to people, because they didn't understand. Some people didn't understand English, and he played a major role in that. And he didn't get enough credit for that. He was really a major cog in making things a little bit civilized,
Friend of the show.
more or less.
That's just
What do you got there, brother?
Well, speaking of, we talk about Malden Mills fire, but there was more recently, there was a major fire on Parker Street in South Lawrence, which took city blocks up in flames.
Okay.
Okay, there's an aerial. I didn't take that photo. It was an aerial shot, but we had major.
That's a whole city block?
That was all 14 buildings destroyed. Multifamily homes, Market, Parker, and Springfield Street.
Wow.
And again, this was a time when 2008, the Tribune goes big with coverage.
No. Look at that.
Wow. Did you take many of those
I
pictures?
took many pictures. I was the first on scene.
Of course you
Oh,
were.
you're shocked, huh?
Why shouldn't you be? Did you
Why?
tell them who you have a special plate?
No.
Do you have flashing lights?
You don't want special.
Do you have flashing lights?
No,
No?
no.
Okay.
Those
Don't get mad. I like you.
Those are for the guys that think they're,
He's
What are you
seen
looking-
6 shots of a lifetime so far. That was a great shot.
See,
Yeah.
so this unbelievable, and I was able to stand across the street at Hafner's.
Wow.
Hafner's gas station. So this is just directly across the street. God love the firefighters getting that close.
How hot is
Now,
that?
you know what happened here? He's disconnecting the hose because the fire truck was basically melting. So they had to get it out of there before they couldn't get it out of
The
there.
truck itself, the rubber in the truck?
The truck, well, the paint was
Peeling
coming
off.
Yeah, because it was right in front of this inferno. Okay. So this was Martin Luther King Day. And I get it. Now, I didn't hear it on the scanner. I heard something, but I get a call from the photo. She was not the photo chief, but she was the director of photography, Amy Sweeney. And she said, it was like 2 a.m. She says, we're getting calls, the city's burning down. And can you get there? I says, yeah, okay. I'm hearing it on the scanner myself. So I went there. I was the first photographer on scene. And so then what they did was they started calling people in from the paper, other photographers to come in. Like the guy came in to take the aerial shot.
How many photographers are there now at the Tribune?
2,
Just 2.
just 2.
Okay.
Way. Yeah. So we had, at one point we had maybe 5 photographers, a photo director, 5 photographers, chief photographer included, and the photo director. And, things happen. So,
I can't believe how close he is to that. That the heat from that must, like you said,
right,
it was melting the paint off the truck.
right,
Can't,
right.
it's hard to believe,
So and it was, again, this was January. So it was probably like 15 degrees outside.
Lou, you have any questions for Carl?
No, I think it's time for a break.
All right. Andiamo, figo.
So when you take
Ciao, this is Esther of You Meat and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Sisters and co-owners Antoinetta and Elisa brought their family authentic Italian recipes from Molise, Italy, and a warm and welcoming dining experience to its customers at Ristorante Molise. The combination of their meals made from natural, homemade, fresh ingredients, and your time with family and friends together at dinner time is unmatched. Located in Market Square in the heart of Amesbury, they're open for dinner Tuesday through Sunday from 3 to 9 p.m. and are available for private parties during off hours. For reservations, call them at 978-388-4844. That's 978-388-4844. Legacy Care Law Firm provides estate planning and elder law services to people in the greater Merrimack Valley and southern New Hampshire areas, with offices in North Andover and Woburn, Massachusetts, as well as Nashua and Salem, New Hampshire. Discussing family and financial matters with an attorney can be intimidating, but our goal is to help you prepare for the future as you preserve your legacy. We help clients qualify for government medical benefits and ensure their estates are preserved for their families so they don't need to worry about their estate being wiped out by high nursing home expenses. Legacy Care Law Firm attorneys are here to support your journey toward a more secure financial future.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Orthopedics Northeast and Essex Orthopedics have joined forces as Mobility Bone and Joint Institute to bring improved access and outstanding medical care. While our name has changed, our dedication to exceptional care remains the same as it has for the past 30 years. Same location, 16 Pelham Road, Salem, New Hampshire.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler.
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
We have an incredible chef, Oscar Figueroa.
In the words of local famous chef and restaurant owner Lydia Shire,
Oscar thrives on hard work.
he is capable and gifted.
No one makes better food. Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
And we're talking with Carl Russo, photographer, reporter, you name it. This guy does it for the Tribune.
I don't know
Absolutely.
about being a reporter, but
Hey, listen, one of the biggest events that happened, and not too long ago, Louis, it was 2018.
Yeah.
We were doing a show at the time when we started getting reports of gas explosions in Lawrence, North Andover, and Andover. And Carl, you covered that. What was something that had to be crazy? I mean, they forced people to evacuate 30,000.
we
30,000.
we had several photographers in the office. Okay, I had just started. I just came in because I believe the explosion was like 4 or 5 o'clock, and we heard about a house explosion in North Andover. So we sent a photographer, and then she called us and said, there's reports of other houses exploding. And then we heard more.
Scary.
Yeah.
And then we heard about it was explosions and fires. Okay. So then we heard about the actual explosion at a house in Lawrence on Chickering Road, right off of 114, which is Winthrop, right? Winthrop Ave. So I was told, go there, go check this out. And I managed to get in there, to drive in there with very little difficulty before the traffic, it became a parking lot. And I got in, I was able to park my car across the street where the Denny's restaurant is. And I ran across the street to Chickering Road, ran down, the house was further in. And there was the house, you could see where the explosion occurred. And the fire department was there. There was a victim. The only victim of the disaster was the teenage boy who happened outside that house. And he was in a car parked in the parking lot next to the house. The explosion caused the chimney to fall down and cave in the car. And the fire department did an unbelievable job of getting him out.
He was the only fatality?
He was the only fatality, I believe, yes. A lot of injuries.
That in itself.
A lot of injuries.
Yeah, but it was
mind-boggling.
Russian roulette for a long period of time where you don't know if your house is going to explode.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
That's why they evacuated,
Yeah.
and it was mandatory. 30,000 people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a third of a city. It's unbelievable.
It's amazing how many epic stories the Tribune has covered just in the last, 30 years.
Unbelievable.
Oh, there's even 30, 40 years. I mean, even going back to the stories that were in the 50s and the 60s. So then I was asked to try to get to a house that was on fire, to try to move on.
How much is your equipment that you're lugging around with you?
How much is it?
How much does it weigh? Yeah.
I don't know how much it weighs, but look at me. I'm just, it's like carrying weights.
What camera are you looking at?
I don't know.
But
which camera's on now?
The one in front of you.
Where am I here?
The one in front of you.
So I couldn't get out. But what I noticed was there were people who had to evacuate that neighborhood, and they didn't know where to go. Okay, they couldn't get their cars out, so they were all gathering outside Denny's. So I was able to get some other type of photos. People there sitting on their luggage. People were just shocked.
When the people
were in shock.
When the Tribune covered that story, you had a lot of pictures that had your name on it in that paper. I mean, you were able to get quite a few pictures.
No.
Which I find,
I
know,
no, I
a
didn't
big
get-
event like that.
I had some pictures, yeah. A story like that is even so much more the aftermath, how much stories we came up with of what the people went through who couldn't stay in their houses, and just the whole politics involved with what happened in the gas company. And but where I was stuck, which was right next to the old Showcase Cinema.
Right.
They used that parking lot as
That was their assembly point. Yeah,
And they-
everybody met, all the fire departments. that
everybody
came
was
in.
me there. And then I just witnessed police and fire, a lot of fire and rescue vehicles racing up 114, coming off the highway and turning in there. And they were coming from everywhere. They came from Boston.
All from Boston. A lot
Came
of
from
them
Boston, a lot. Some came Portsmouth, New Hampshire. They came from every place. And that's where the press conference was going to be. That's why they said it will stay there. The governor's going to be coming, and they'll have press conferences there.
You never know sometimes. You just get a beautiful morning and, everything looks good. And you never know what can possibly happen like within the next 30 seconds.
Right.
I mean, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, how slows up.
Especially when the infrastructure in some of the older cities, it's tired. It's tired. You see it happen a lot with these water lines. You get freezing weather and then you get thawing weather. What happens? The pipes break, people get flooded, their basements get flooded. But those gas explosions, that was scary.
Yep.
That was scary stuff. Carl, I have to mention sports because your pictures about sports are mind-boggling. Absolutely mind-boggling. I mean, I don't know how you can get somebody that's running full bore, goes in for a layup, and you take a shot and he's not moving. It's like you're almost a foot and a half away from him. What's the success of trying to get that close?
So you think I have a sports photo with me? Of course not.
No, that's okay. But what's it like? Like, how do you know when a shot is a good shot?
Yeah, trial and error. You just live and learn. You just, after 42 years, I should by now get a good shot. Right?
I mean, but you're all over the place
Yeah.
at night. You're carrying sports, and especially when you're in Southern New Hampshire.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
You got some.
Yeah. So in fact, sports is not just action.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
You get the excitement. And this was Andover girls basketball. They won. This was 2 years ago. They won the state championship. This was at the Songus Arena. So when they
they'll never forget that.
When they announced that they won,
great photo.
They're running towards their teammates on the bench, and it was a great year for them. And when this excitement and people celebrate, this is a classic thing to do.
Yep.
You dumped a bucket of water on your
Gatorade
coach.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So this is Central Catholic, and they won. This was lacrosse. They won. I think this was last year. They won the state championship.
It was last year. Yeah.
They won the state championship. This is not the Andover football. No, this is not. This is not another.
It's not an action shot.
This is not a fire.
Great
this is
shot.
not another major
Look at that
fire.
sky.
Yeah.
Was there a forest fire going on?
Yeah,
The
right.
smoke
That's
was in the air.
Just,
It's a sunset.
Yeah, that's
it's
amazing.
a sunset. This was this fall. It's not the Andover, and it was just about halftime. I was actually gonna leave because I had to make a deadline, and I looked and just saw the sky. And so somehow you want to
Being at the right place at the right time.
You don't want a photo of the sky. You want a photo you want to incorporate the location. So that's why I wanted to make sure I got the players in there.
Look at this picture. The one about the dog.
This is very recent.
Oh.
We did a story about this place in Groveland. It's called something Paws, something
Sweet Paws.
It's a Sweet Paws. Yeah, great.
Yep.
So
they're relocating.
We actually, the part of the story is about them relocating. So, but I took this picture like a month before we ran the story. Okay. So they said, fine, go there. There's a lot of cute puppies. I said to them, what can you help me with? What's the best? They said, we got these 9 boxes, weeks old. When I went in there with the woman, now this little girl was looking to adopt. So she came in to look at the puppies, and that's how I got this photo.
Guess who she took home?
So when I went in with the woman in charge and she took the puppies out, they just jump all over you and me, her.
Friendly.
It was hard to get pictures because they just want to play with you. It was also, and I wanted to get down low because they're all on the ground. Right. But there was a lot of urine on the floor too. And so I had a.
Well, people getting ready to have their lunch.
It's
Come on.
it's the.
I want
part
to,
of the territory.
With sports photography now on our phones, there's live shooting where you get several exposures. It's the old multiple exposure thing.
Oh, you can really?
Yeah. With digital cameras, do they have that? Like
Oh, well, the cameras, the 35 millimeter cameras you always had a motor drive,
right?
And you get consecutive.
But with the new digital cameras, can you do that?
Oh, even faster.
I'll bet. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, when you say digital cameras, Nikon, Canon, all the other camera companies, they improve cameras every 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the digital cameras, the most expensive ones, are ridiculous as far as the price, but the quality is unbelievable. You know, it's just amazing. I went from black and white film to mixing chemistry to processing film, processing reporters' film, and making black and white prints. Now, the Tribune we always had color, but we shot color slides.
Okay.
Not negatives, because that's the best reproduction in the paper is from a slide.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
But once we got
at that point, you have to deliver the shot. It's no electronic transfer. It's no.
Exactly.
You have to hand deliver the shot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Louis, last year I was invited to a function over at the Doubletree in Andover. And it's an event that happens, I believe, every year. And they recognize fire department, EMTs, police department. What do they call it? Heroes, something? Carl?
Yeah, well, the policeman and fireman of the year.
Okay.
Type thing. That's it.
And they have a dinner. It was really a lovely, lovely event. And Carl was there as he is every year covering it.
Yep.
Lo and behold, whose name did they call to come up and be recognized?
Carl?
Cacino. My cousin Carl goes up and did you know it or didn't you know it?
I did not know anything about it.
We tried to keep Susan, his wife, hidden so he wouldn't see her and get suspicious.
The whole table.
And it wasn't easy, let me tell you.
Susan is
But
commented by
what an event. Jeez, it was beautiful. And honest to God, without a word of a lie, and I'm not being prejudiced, I think you got the loudest applause of anybody. Barbara had a ball. It was just a great event. Louis, how much time have we got?
Got about 2 minutes.
Oh,
Susan
okay.
commented, by the way.
I'm sorry?
Susan commented, his wife said, I call Kyle Lemare of the Merrimack Valley, keeps the scanner on all the time, and I ask him to turn it down when I go to bed.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got a woman that's understanding. Let me tell you.
Yes.
You two make a great pair. They
Right.
really
Would any
do.
wife be understanding when you tell her, "Oh, I'm going to be working nights"? Nights was my thing. When I got hired at the Tribune, 3 years after being with the Townsmen, it was a night position.
And you stayed there.
I stayed there, and I liked working.
But
nights.
that's where the action is usually, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'd say so. You know,
And that's part of the thrill of it, right? Being there for all this stuff.
right.
Yep.
Right.
Well,
I've enjoyed covering the Merrimack Valley all these years, and I
Well, you
appreciate
got-
all the subscribers to the Tribune and people who enjoy my photos.
the reputation that you have, not only about people that look at your work in the paper, but between the police officers and the fire department, you're very well respected. And that's one of the reasons why, because you don't ask questions that you're putting somebody in a position. So I just want to say, keep it up.
Right.
You're doing a great
I'm wearing
job.
my
It's time
suit.
for us to bid adieu.
Stay Please hat. Right, because give them support.
All right. Listen, next week we're going to Sicily, kids. We're off to Sicily. Take care, Lou. Have a wonderful weekend. Everybody enjoy. I know it's supposed to rain Saturday. Bummer, but we need the rain. Take care.